Hello everyone, NoctM0 here, and today I bring you yet again another segment of Game Gems. This time, it's another horror game, but it's one of my personal favorites, one my brother and I just love to death. And that's actually going to be two games, but still. The Suffering. Both the regular and the Ties That Bind sequel. Okay, so to start it off, The Suffering is a horror game series that was released on the PS2, Xbox, and PC way back in 2004. The game itself tried to move away from more traditional horror games and became less about survival and more on, I guess, action, but still retaining the horror stuff. Now, it wasn't doing what Resident Evil 5 did, because Resident Evil 5 was just over-the-top action, explosions, and Michael Baying the whole thing. But it was still labeled a survival horror. It actually had a much creepier and darker atmosphere than most games that I've played around the time. This game was pretty messed up. It tried to do what I saw as what Silent Hill was doing, adding more disturbing stuff instead of gory stuff. But this combined that rather well with disturbing and gory. I think where the game did shine at as well was just how, I guess, they didn't give too much of a background story for the main character, which added to the mystery of it, I guess. The game itself was fun. It added a lot of replay value because of the choices that you had to add as well in the game. You actually play as the main character, whose name is Torque. He's on death row for supposedly murdering his wife and two children. Though he claims his innocence, it's really up to the player. How you carry yourself in the game will determine how the game's ending will be, and determining Torque's innocence. It really all depends. You can either go good, evil, or neutral. I know Knights of the Old Republic predates this game, but when my brother and I were playing this, I would go the good path, he would go evil, so we can see both sides of it, because remaining neutral was just really, really hard. Let's see now. The game really did have a lot of awesome gameplay, especially the fact that you can swap between first person and third person combat. The game didn't change too much other than the perspective. It's just that, I feel like the game primarily was a third-person combat game, but it didn't change too much when you switch between first and third. What I loved was the atmosphere itself. I felt creeped out playing this game, honestly, especially when you're in areas that you're just by yourself, because you would hear the blades being dragged around, or being, the clink 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 sound of the slayers. The mainliners, I think, were the more frightening of enemies. I would never want to go in the prison showers in that game because of the mainliners. Come on, I don't think there was rape happening in there. Not like Outlast, if you know the scene I'm talking about. The combat was fun. You had a large variety of weapons, and really, ammo wasn't scarce to me be labeled a survival horror, but it was a pretty freaky game. I remember all the scenes that got really hectic for a while. Especially having to protect certain non-playable characters as well. But I think my most favorite part out of everything was the content. The backgrounds and the lore of this game is what I think carried it, especially the history of Carnate Island and Baltimore from both the first and second game, respectively. Where in Carnate you would get information from Clem, who basically had all these different crude drawings and information on the different monsters that he named, like the Slayers, the Mainliner. I think one of my favorite things, though, is that once you beat the game, you unlock a what is it? You unlock Torque's bio, but not really on Torque, but on what he manifests as. Because in the game, you can actually transform into a monster. But the thing is that to everybody else in the game, they only see Torque basically going into a wild rage and tearing all the other monsters apart with his bare hands. But with Torque, he was transforming into some kind of evil monster. But they in both games they never elaborate what he is or what makes all these malefactors show up and start wreaking havoc, because these creatures just take on the violent deaths of people who've died, whether Carnate Island or Baltimore, and the histories vary. It's truly frightening, but at the same time it's really flippin' cool. What I hope they do is make a sequel to the second one, although I don't know what they can possibly do, and with Midway under, I don't see a sequel happening. Honestly though, because of Midway and Mortal Kombat, I would hope that NetherRealm hopefully got the rights to this. I don't really know which studio has the rights to The Suffering, but this is a game that needs to be re-explored. I'm surprised PlayStation hasn't jumped on it by releasing a PlayStation 2 port onto there. It would be fun. I would love to go through it again, and I'd definitely love to do a Let's Play on it. But I love the copies that I have. They're fun games, and I really hope everyone checks them out. If it's on Steam, definitely get it. If it's not, I don't know, go to your local game store, get a PS2, and grab The Suffering. I mean, their games were definitely worth checking out. Fun fact, the late Michael Clark Duncan actually voices Torque in the second game, as well as another character that you'll see. Well, that's about it for right now. I didn't mean for this to drag on any longer than it was, but it's nostalgia right here. The Suffering is one of the best horror games I've ever played, and it's sad that it hasn't been revisited. I would have even loved to have seen the movie based on it, just for fun. But please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and please definitely check out these game gems. They are definitely worth revisiting. Any of you young kids out there who've been going crazy with video games, I mean, definitely give these games a look-see. They're worth it. Peace.